Ladies and gents, welcome to another video here on the EGL channel. Today, well, we're having a quick look at Apocalypse. I know obviously it's just coming to the map rotation. Some of the pros have been scrimming it recently, and we had a little look through to sort of see what we thought of the map and what we think of the rotations, how we think it's going to sort of lie in a hard point, how it's going to play out. For me, it was the very first time I've ever looked at it, so if you're fresh eyes into this one, I'm fresh eyes into this one as well. Obviously, I haven't made custom classes for a start. We'll be pausing here and there as well, just to have a little look through to sort of confirm what we think of it, of course. But a lot of the pros and a lot of the players I have spoke to seem to really enjoy this map. And what I'll quickly pause just before we do jump in. What I really wanted to do is not that. What I really wanted to do was actually jump in public and have a go at it from there. But I tried to get into a game on it, just completely impossible. I don't think it's in league play yet either, so I haven't had a chance to fully play it by myself, but I had a look through it, sort of had a sort of an idea of what I think will play out, or how it will play out, I should say. And I'm excited to see it, it has to be said. So let's just delve into it. And obviously it's very much like Aztec-y, all the ruins sort of vibe to it. I think the map's really quite pretty, but let's just have a quick look here. We'll just we'll take us back just a second. Obviously, to open things up, it is very much one of those hills in the middle where it is going to be quite the affair. So, I mean, we've got this big open area, of course, with a little bit of cover, plenty of buildings around it. I don't think we're going to get a great deal of time off this one, apart from one particular spot, of course. It depends, I mean, what side you want to be on is the side that we're on. I'm kind of just calling it the ruin side of spawn, because that's where P2 moves over towards. You can see the truck on top of it doesn't really give you any sort of gained advantage, but if you can... We'll get there again. It doesn't really give you any good advantage being on top of the truck, but if you have a sort of a look in and around these areas and these areas, this is where people are going to sort of be chilling, I think. If you can get set up there, that's a good spot. And I was thinking, oh, okay, well, if you get set up here, you're good. As long as you've got somebody watching the building to cross, you're in a really good spot. But if you have a look underneath, we have this whole area next to the helicopter, and this is a lane you're really going to have to hold. It is kind of a three-laner. You got this lane on the outside, very small one, right through the middle, and then, okay, you've got a lot going on out to the outside over towards P2, but I feel as if this is going to be like an area that does need to be controlled quite a bit, and well, we will see a lot of AR players posting up either side of it, of course. My recording on whatever I was recording with is way off for some reason, not quite sure why. The FPS not there. I think I might have had on 60 FPS whilst obviously I was playing on a higher one. Nonetheless though, let's move into P2. We can generically sort of kind of see what's going on, and it's to move back towards the ruins here. Now for me, and we'll pause it when we get into this one, this really could be a big money hill potentially. You have these two little spots you can sit inside of just to try and cover, but there's not many different entrances, and this back gold is such a good spot it seems to hold from. Everyone's going to want to be pushing towards this side of the spawn to probably try and break it. So that's going to be a big congestion area, whereas on this side of things, you can't really set up here because you can be seen through the little window to watch the cross. So you've got two entrances. You can kind of watch that from there if you have somebody covering your left. But it really is about back gold here. I think you're going to be wanting to keep a hold of these spawns over towards the back side, keeping a hold of gold, making sure you're watching those angles. But from here, obviously, as we can have a look, we had a little look, you can see over towards that side if you have somebody covering up here. This is a hill I feel as if you could pick a lot of points upon. And when I've spoken to a couple of the players, they said it seems quite difficult to try and break some of the hills, but they don't know if that's just because people kind of haven't figured it out yet. And this might be a good one to sort of go back to, this video in particular, to sort of see if I was completely wrong on it. But for me, P2 does seem like a really good solid hold. The rest of them don't seem necessarily as easy as we transition over towards P3. Now this is obviously where I believe P4 is over in this area where we are right now as we transition over towards P3. Now you can see there's a couple of different entrances here. You would have to jump up the ladders. You can't walk up those ladders specifically, and this is the top area, but it is just literally down below the decking with the chopper on the right hand side. Now this lane is going to be highly contested, I would imagine, when it does come down to actually playing this map, as we can see me setting up there. And of course these barrels are really going to be quite nice as well, but there's so many different angles you've got to watch from here. I'm really curious to see the spawn side. I think, you know, we'll have a little pause of it here, and you can have a look on the mini map. Actually, if we just rewind ever so slightly, you can see these back buildings buildings towards the backside. Let's just move this across so you can see that because of my graphics. These buildings towards the backside is probably what you want to go to hold, because we move over towards there afterwards P4. So anything on this side of the map that I'm currently on now, spawning wise, is probably where you want to keep it for the next 3 hills. But we'll see how it works out, and we'll just repurpose the video back over there so you got it centered. But I don't feel as if you're going to be able to pick up a great deal of points on this hill specifically, but that depends how the spawn system does work, of course. This is why I wanted to play it. It's quite hard on a level just to go through and have a run through it, but just first impressions of the map, what we think of it. Nice little shrine in the helicopter in particular, but you can't get up on top of here, or at least I can't figure out how you would, but I can imagine that would be a really nice spot to cover the right hand side. That's probably why they have locked it off, and you can't really see a great deal over towards that side from this window specifically. But moving over towards P4, this one is a bit of a strange one. I think you probably could lock this down for a good amount of time as we make our way over. I do not know why the recording is so low quality. So there's the one entrance from Temple side, which is just this one here, obviously. You could just have one guy posted here. It depends which way they want to hit it from. But then if you look at the other side, there is the little hut on the left-hand side. There's no jump overs as far as I'm aware at this point. You got this little building on the left-hand side here. You can see, obviously, just having a check through there. And then we actually have it along the catwalk. This is probably not a bad spot for people to sort of lie in. I wouldn't be surprised that the recording quality is so bad. I really don't know why. Anyway, got this other little hut you can push from, and then that little catwalk from the same sort of angle. Can't really jump up to get a good look at what's going on, so that really is there intentionally, of course. And then there's also a cover inside the hill. I feel as if this one you probably will be able to pick up a decent amount of time, but you have to kind of watch a couple of different angles. I think holding that back temple side is going to be important, but then if you look at the rotation over towards P5, it's on the other side. So it's an interesting one. I think basically how the hills are laid out make it a very, very good hardpoint map. We've heard a lot of the pros saying that they have enjoyed it. This one down low towards P5, I feel as if you may be able to lock this one in. It's at the back of the map, so if you can get the spawns locked in and sort of push out a little bit, you're in a good spot. You could pick up a decent amount of time, but it very much could be one of those, it will be hard, I think, to maybe break through and get that ultimate control. We can imagine a lot of players are probably going to want to hold towards the back here for watching that push coming over from P4. It's going to be one of those maps I feel like quite similar to Raid. I think it's going to be quite rotationally heavy, which is what a lot of hardpoint players maps are like, I suppose. But I think this one is going to be very much about locking them in early. If you can do, you're going to do well. But let me know what you think of Apocalypse below. Do you think it is a good rotation add in? Of course, Crossroads going out. I'm a little bit disappointed from the watching standpoint, because it was very entertaining. It was very fast paced, but at the same time, it wasn't fantastic competitive. On a competitive sort of level field side of things, it was a little bit silly, but that's going to be the quick review of Apocalypse, what we think it's going to be like. As far as I'm aware, I don't think the European Challenger side of things are actually going to be playing it towards the first week of Elite Challenge, as far as I'm aware. That's what I've heard from the EU side of things, at least anyway. Everyone's going to sort of give each other a chance to get it locked in. I'm going to be jumping into some scrims with August to keep an eye on how the map is playing out, but so far so good. I like to see the announcement. Of course, Express coming in as well is always good. I didn't feel a need to really go over that one, as we have all played that before on Black Ops 2 way back. So this one is a new one though, and there's the review. That's how I think it's going to go down. Let me know what you think of Apocalypse. Do you think it's a good addition? Do you think it was a good idea to get rid of Crossroads for it? I think it's going to be one of the more favoured maps on the game. Anyway, guys, have a good day. We'll see you for the next video.